Hey guys, so I've been really sick lately and haven't got to film much, but this one is for all of my animal lover subscribers. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
So this is currently Quincy's cage. Sorry about the mess. It just comes, it's the bottom of a cage, because as you can see, it latches here. So since this was such a sudden purchase for me, I kind of had to throw everything together. It came with the wheel, all these little toys, the cave, the dishes, the bottom, the playpen, of course, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'm still trying to get everything to make her feel at home. Sorry. I'm still saying her because of Charlie. Oh, thanks for that. I'll clean that up. So far he wasn't being litter trained, so I'm going to start. You can see there is some stuff in here, so that's exciting. I put it right by his wheel because, oh, sorry. Be quiet. I put it right by his wheel because, you know, they always go on their wheel, but he is pretty good with going off the side. I know some of them will be polite and go off the side. So in the morning I'll find, you know, his pee and stuff right here. So I took this and put it there so it can be in the litter. Now I am going to change this out. I just bought some non-clumping litter for small rodents. This I put in here just quickly because I have cats and I was like, it's not clumping, but it is made of clay and it does dust a little bit, so I got to get this out of here. It's been in there for a day and a half. And I just went to the pet store and got the other stuff. So, his cave's really big, and as you can see, he doesn't have a lot of space. You know, he doesn't like pooping near his food and his water. Everything's just really crammed, and I feel sorry for him. Initially, I went out to try and get a new, smaller wheel for him that could maybe, instead of having to go under the mulch, slide under, because it's one of those ones that has the little wire thing, and I wanted it to go underneath here and then have the wheel overhang. To me, that's smart, but they don't make them like that, I guess, and I'm stuck with this wheel, which is fine. I mean, I don't really like the little, I might go online and purchase one of the, what are they called? Storm something. I saw them online and they're like the best wheel you can buy. So anyways, let's get to it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go ahead and use for Quincy's cage. Big girl. I have boxes everywhere. Sorry, my cats love boxes. I have this random box from work. Little bed box. I always have random boxes around the house for the cats, and then I just go ahead and recycle them. I haven't found much use for it yet, because when she's out, when I take her out for bonding time, right now I'm really interested in just being around her and seeing how she lives her life and what her habits are. So right now I mostly like either set her on the couch with me and just really watch her, or on the coffee table. I'll push it up against the couch and sit on this side so I know she's safe. This I've only put her in once when I wanted her out, but I didn't have time to sit with her and I was making dinner. So I believe later on it's going to come in a lot more handy when I want her out and I can do other things. Okay, so what I did, I went out and purchased a couple Rubbermaid containers. Well, one's not the actual brand Rubbermaid, but you get the idea. I looked everywhere for what I would feel like is a decent cage for her, and honestly I couldn't find anything that suited all of my needs in one, so I'm like, well, it's probably just as good, and if not easier and cheaper, to make one myself. So for pricing, and I think all I'm going to need, okay, let's see here. So this huge container, it's 104 liters. and it says that it is 34 5/8 by 18 3/4 by 12 5/8. It's long and it's not too wide, and it's just wide enough for her to run around with all of her things in there. There. And that one was at Canadian Tire, $24.99. And then I was like, hey, I want her to have a little sleepy den. So this is going to be her sleepy cage. The cave will be for maybe the playpen so she can sleep out here, or I'll find a use for the cave. I am simply just going to fill this with either a fleece blankie, or she's sleeping on that mulch or whatever you want to call it right now. I still don't know about that product. If you guys have any suggestions for what's better for a hedgehog for sleeping, I was given that bedding and it says it's natural and everything, but you know, you can never be sure. I've also heard fleece blankets and I feel like that's really safe, but I just want to make sure that will allow her to feel as comfortable and in a natural habitat as possible. They don't have fleece blankets wherever they're from, so okay. So that Rubbermaid container was $4.99, so that was a good price. So that's going to be where she sleeps. Then I was like, I need some kind of tubing that she'll fit through. Hopefully, I don't know how big hedgehogs get, but hopefully she'll fit through that for a long time. If she gets bigger and fatter than that, I don't know. That'd be crazy. And that was only $2.99. So altogether, I spent with tax $36.24. So that's like buying a cage, right? And this is going to be like an awesome cage. She'll be able to run everywhere. So my idea here, or what I'm going for anyway, I'm going to cut a hole and attach this like this. Then I'm going to bring this around and have that attached like that. So this is where she lives. Her wheel, her shitter, her food will all be here. And then when she's like, I'm gonna go to sleep, she can crawl into her bed. I think that's a frickin' wicked idea. Where can you find a cage this big and this awesome for $30, $36? So, I think all I'm going to need is some kind of knife. I wish I had an X-Acto knife. I don't have one on me right now. And when I want to do something, I want it done now. So I'm going to go ahead and use a steak knife because it has a rigid edge. It's not too sharp. And this Sharpie so I can draw my lines. And then I'm going to outline the holes with tape so A, they're not sharp, and it gives a little cushion for this to slide in there. So let's go ahead and cut the first hole. We're just going to dive right in there and get it done. If I ruin the container, FML, I guess, I'll find another use for it. Check back in a second. So I traced myself a hole, obviously, and when I'm cutting this out, I'm actually going to go just on the inside. I'm going to cut it around like this because it's better to work in than to make it too big and this not fit. I could build it up with tape after, but it's just easier to cut it smaller and then be like, okay, I need it a little bit bigger. Just a precautionary whatever. So remember, cut inside the black line, not outside. P.S. Before you start cutting, if you are young, make sure you ask an adult to help you with this step. Be very careful. I do not suggest you use a steak knife. I suggest you use an X-Acto knife. Don't be silly like me. Make sure you are supervised by an adult or that an adult will do this step for you. Whoops! So, be careful. Because I'm using a dull steak knife, the plastic has cracked. But I feel like that's okay. I'll just electrical tape over it, cover it. We'll make it work. So as you can see, even though it is cracked, it still fits tight. because I have a little thing here and here and here. So I'm gonna go through and I'm going to cover these or just use, oops. If I can find all the pieces, I can just tape them back in. No big deal. So far so good. Now I'm going to take this and just set it on the ground as it's naturally going to be. And I'm going to go ahead and Sharpie around where this hole is going to be and do the same thing. So as you can see, everything's finished up. All I did was cut 2 holes. I ended up going and getting a proper knife from my boyfriend to finish it because it was just too dangerous, obviously. So I just cut a hole in this, cut a hole in this, and put the tube in. The boxes are slid right together, and then this is where he'll sleep, and you can put the cover on and then take the cover off whenever you need to get at him. Right now he's in his cave because that's where he's used to sleeping, so I don't want to freak him out and move him around too much. So I'll let him sleep in there for the night, and then whenever he gets comfortable, he'll realize this is here, it's bigger, it's cozier, and he's only been here, well, a week on Thursday, so he's only been here 5 days. So I want to get him comfortable, as comfortable as he can be, so I'm going to leave the cave in for another couple days until he sorts things out. So as you can see, lots of space now. Especially when that cave's not in there. I'll have all the food and everything on the right, away from the litter and the wheel. Everything on the left. So that's it. And it doesn't take up too much space. Got him off that little table there. And yeah, he doesn't need a cover or anything. Hedgehogs can't get out, so he is good to go for life in there. I mean, I probably won't keep him in there for life. You know me, I'll be changing it up like every few years. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it and try it out yourselves. Thanks. Bye.